All right, we are now recording and I am going to get started. You can see on our screen what we are going to be talking about. I am going to go through and show you all this information. We're going to breeze through these slides very quickly, but I want everybody to get the information that they need to be able to testify at the State House. So let's start first with what we know about SB 63 at this very moment. What I know about SB 63 is that it has been through the Senate and been approved by committee and then voted out of the Senate to the House. The House now has it in the General Government Committee, and it is sitting there waiting for our legislators to come back to their offices and get started. Are you not seeing my screen? Okay, let me stop. And oh yeah, you're probably seeing. Okay, let me try resharing and make sure I don't have things blocking the screen. One second. My share screen didn't show up, so oh yeah, I know what's the deal. Give me just 1 second. Technical difficulties. One moment, please. Now we'll go to that. Now you shouldn't have any gray blocks. Well, let me move it. Now you shouldn't have any gray blocks in your screen. Please let me know if you do, because I would prefer you don't. All right, great, awesome, score. Thank you for letting me know that. Especially the people who are watching the recording later don't want to be seeing gray blocks in the middle of the screen. All right, so SB 63 is sitting in the House committee. They are waiting for the House to come back. The House is expected to come back as early as the 16th of September. They may or may not. They have a couple meetings in September here that are kind of optional if they choose to. Um, and so that is kind of where we're at right now at this moment. So hopefully they will decide not to pick it up and not go anywhere with it and never talk about it again, which would be awesome. We don't expect that to happen. It may be slow going. They may or may not do it this fall because there is going to be redistricting happening, and the House and the Senate have a part to play in redistricting this fall. So we may or may not see them try and throw it in there before they start getting busy with redistricting. The first real meeting that I think they have is the last week of September. That's when committees may start coming back if they don't come back the 2 weeks before that. So at this moment, could be September, could be October, could be next year. We don't really know. And we won't know until we get a last minute notification telling us on Friday that on Tuesday there is a hearing. So keep an eye on your email. You should all be now signed up for emails from us about our bills that are happening at the State House and be able to jump in on that. You will get notifications by email as to things are going. Also, pay attention to our social. Our social will tell you a lot of things too. Our social media, we'll be posting it on there as well when we have when it's go time for testimony. So I challenge everyone here to choose to submit testimony. You don't have to, but you are here hopefully because you want to, and you have something to say. So I imagine you wouldn't be here if you didn't. So I highly encourage you to choose to submit testimony. You can do it in writing or in person, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Couple tips to just keep in mind as you are preparing your testimony and getting ready. We're all angry that they are doing a ban bill on ranked choice voting. This is a thing. We all have emotions. I highly recommend that you use your anger in a positive way. Use it to convince, to strategize, to get them angry. Just try not to yell at them if you do go in person, and try to stay away from like schoolyard names, stupid, idiot, things like that. We don't want to be calling them names. Treat it like it's a business meeting. So make it cordial. You don't have to be nice. You can call them out on anything you need to call them out on. Please do use your anger for that. Call them out on the stuff that's not right, that you're angry about. Absolutely. Use your anger in positive ways. So, what is SB 63 and what does it propose to do? SB 63 is basically going to financially punish communities if they choose to use ranked choice voting. Essentially, they get money from the state every month. That money would be pooled if they decided to vote through that their city council or mayor election would like to use ranked choice voting. There are several cities in Ohio that are considering this for next year. All of them would be financially stunted should they choose to do it. It would prevent us from doing, it'll deter cities from wanting to do this. This is our initiative right now. We're trying to get as many cities across Ohio to use ranked choice voting as possible. And this would literally stunt our growth and our efforts to do that because cities are going to think that's going to be risky financially for them to do it should they want to. Of course, there are court cases that can happen. We can challenge it because this is literally against our Constitution to take money away from city to stop cities from choosing how they want to run. There's a lot of points that I have out here on this slide. There are 6 points. I would suggest when you're writing your testimony, and you will get these slides later, but I would recommend that you pick 1 or 2. No more than that to write your testimony. You have a short amount of time to get their attention. It's best to stick to 1 or 2 points. So right now, what I'd like you to do is to take a minute and look at the choices that are on your screen and choose 1 or 2 of these points, write it down or put it in the chat if you want to, but write it down so you know which 1 or 2 you would like to actually use for your testimony. I'll give you a couple seconds to do so. All right, was somebody committed to number 3 and 4? Beautiful. Awesome. Or thinking about, not committed. Thinking about. I'll honor that. Perfectly fine. Write down your notes. Put done in the chat when you've got it. All right. Discriminatory policies and going against the Ohio Constitution. Numbers 2 and 3. Beautiful. Love it. All right. Looks like most of you have chosen, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Talking points. So there are some talking points available about this. We have some on our website, which I will link to. Home rule authority is over 100 years old in this state. This state was granted by the Ohio Constitution, allowing local governments to make decisions based on their local needs. Ohioans, including conservatives, believe that having local rule on how they run is a good idea. And it was voted through over 100 years ago to allow that. So this is an unconstitutional amendment. It will not be challenged until it's actually been put into effect and a city tries to actually run ranked choice voting and they have to challenge the constitutionality of it at that point. Right now, there is no opposite bill to pass ranked choice voting at the state house anywhere. This is the only bill they have, and that is that they want to stop ranked choice voting. They want to ban it in the state of Ohio. So while it doesn't specifically ban it, it does financially hurt cities to do it. And there is constitutionality against that. So there would be a case, what that case would look like, whether cities will do it. We would prefer they don't even have to do that, that they can choose for themselves based on a 100-year-old rule, that a constitutionally given right to rule themselves at the city, at the local level. A couple more talking points there. Taking power away is a big thing to talk about. So that's something that state house people will listen to, our legislators want to listen to, is when you say you're taking power away from voters, it's exactly what you're doing when you're telling them they cannot choose how they want to vote. You're taking power away from the local community at that point. So talking about power pool, talking about one size fits all, talking about the state house dictating how communities run. These are all talking points you can use in your testimony to let them know that this is a bad thing for Ohio. We do have more talking points at the website that you see there. I'm going to throw that website into the chat so that you have it and can go ahead and click that if you'd like to. We have lots of talking points there to strengthen your point of view. I highly recommend making it personal. So making it personal doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, I've experienced this exact thing where somebody banned ranked choice voting. Making personal means I have a personal story to tell about somebody who tried to take my rights away, or someone who stood in the way of my city being able to make decisions, or something about, like, you could even talk about, I people at the state house are equivalent to X, Y, and Z, which is an experience I have had, a bully on the playground or something of that sort. There are different kinds of things that you can talk about that is a personal experience of yours. And if you can connect that to what this bill would do, that always makes it more impactful to the legislators at the state house. We need to have a consistent message with those individual stories to make the case strong for a no vote. So there are 6 points that I have given you to choose from. You take one or two of those. If everybody takes one or two of those, we have a consistent message across all our testimony. And if you add your personal story to it, it makes every single one of them sound individual. You have your own opinions, you have your own thoughts, which is real and true. And we want you to have those opinions and thoughts. Make a story out of it. All of that makes it a stronger case for a no vote. That gives them more fodder to say no. So it's important to have both. Writing your testimony. So you are writing your testimony to the General Government Committee testimony, Government Committee. This is a committee at the House, and that committee is listed there in your chat. And there are certain people, which I'm also going to throw in the list of all the representatives, maybe one of yours is on them, who are on the committee who is looking at this bill. So they are going to decide whether it goes to the full House or not. That is completely up to them. So they're the ones who make the decision as to whether it moves forward. If we can stop it in committee, it never goes to the House. It never goes to the governor. It never goes anywhere. If we can stop it now, it's done. So these are the people that are currently on the committee. Particularly if you are in one of those districts, I highly recommend reaching out to your representative to say, hey, look, I'm in your district. I've written testimony. Here's my testimony. Please vote no. You can totally do that ahead of testimony. Now you can do that anytime you want. Reach out to your representative and tell them, particularly if they're on this committee, you'll want to let them know that you are against this bill and you want them to vote no. We will need to call in, like, the week that there's probably going to be a call-in day once we find out that it is going into the committee. So we'll find out on Friday that it's going to commit. The committee is going to hear testimony. When it's opposition testimony, we'll let you know. And probably Monday we'll have a call-in day for our reps. You don't want to, to talk to them. So we will continue to look at that and monitor that. We'll let you know who to call and when. For right now, the committee is most important because they're the ones who are going to make the next big decision. Keep your testimony to 3 minutes, which is basically 1 page per sheet of paper at 12 point. So at Arial 12 point. So that kind of helps you plan it out. And if you're in person, you need to make sure that you address Everyone, every time. So, and you also need to do this in your written testimony in the first line. Chairwoman Ray, Vice Chair LaRae, Ranking Member Brent, and members of the General Government Committee. This is the official way to address legislators at our state house. This is the traditional, this is how we address people rule. Following that rule makes us look like we know what we're doing. We know how things work. We're not just people off the street who know nothing. So actually following that rule is quite helpful and shows a level of respect for what is happening at the state house. So in your letter, you'll want to do that as well as, or in your testimony written as well as verbally, you will want to make sure you say that. And keep in mind, they may ask you questions. So you can come in and when you talk about certain things, if you relay facts or statistics or information of that, they may ask you. They may ask you a complete out of left field question, such as, how are we going to implement ranked choice voting? And my suggestion to you is one, if you don't have an answer, you can say, I don't know. Also, one of the other things that I think you can say, and not think, I know you can say, are this bill isn't about that. This bill is about XYZ. So you can pick something to say. This bill is about taking away home rule from communities. This bill is about making a ban on ranked choice voting, or don't say ban because they get mad at that because they say it's not technically a ban. So this is about taking funding away from cities who decide to use it. This is about the power at the state house being imposed on local communities. You could say something like that. It is not about whether or not to use ranked choice voting. This is about you dictating whether or not we can use ranked choice voting. That is the problem. This is against home rule is the word you can use. This is about breaking home rule. This is going to make home rule obsolete. You can say things like that. So think about that. So if they come up with something like, how are we going to do ranked choice voting? This isn't about how we're going to do ranked choice voting. This isn't about what the procedure is. This is about not giving anybody the opportunity to even try it, to even look at that, to even be able to consider it at their local level. So consider that, what redirect answers you might want to give as well. All right, what do you do with your testimony? You've written testimony, you've spent hours and hours, hopefully not, hopefully just a short amount of time, putting together your testimony. What happens? How does this work? We should know on a Friday when that testimony will be given, heard for opposition testimony on Tuesday. We will let you know as soon as we know and as soon as we can get an email out to you. And you will need to send in your testimony with a witness slip, which we will send in the email, but also I can link in the chat for you so you have a copy of it to save for yourself. Hopefully that works. And then you will email in your testimony plus, in addition, not in the same document, two different PDFs. So one PDF, which is your testimony, and one PDF, which is your witness slip. Send them separately in one email, and they all go to the email that's on your screen there. OHR General Government Committee House, which doesn't seem to want to copy for me. There we go. So that should be where you send it to. Again, you'll want to let them know, hi, I'm sending in testimony for Tuesday, about with this bill, SB 63. Please add me to testimonies. In your witness slip, you will have to tell them if you're going to testify in person or not. So you'll need to know in advance, decide that as soon as you can, whether you're going to be just sending in your testimony, which can just be written and sent in. And the more we have of that, the more numbers we have, the better. This is a numbers game. Numbers matter. The more people who speak out against, whether in written or in person, the more fodder there is for them to say no. So it's a numbers game. Send in your testimony, whether you're going to be there or not, no later than 24 hours in advance. No later. Has to arrive by 24 hours before the meeting. Generally, they've been meeting about 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Tuesdays. Generally, they can change it anytime they want. If you're going to be in person, arrive at least 45 minutes to an hour before so you have time to park, get into the State House, get through security, and find the room that you're going to. You'll want plenty of time to do that so that you're not late. You'll want to be there. Bring a copy or two of your testimony just in case somebody wants a copy. And again, be prepared for questions. So at the end of everything, you can find testimony listed on the website for the General Government Committee, and you can find everybody's, yours, everybody's, whoever you want. You can look up the bill SB 63 and actually see previous testimony from the Senate hearings that happened as well. So you can look for the House General Government Committee and see all the testimony there ahead of time of the hearing. And you can watch live or watch the recording on the Ohio channel, which is an online TV channel that shows all the things that happen at the legislature, at the State House. So you can watch that after or watch live during the testimony to see what's happening and how the testimony is going, if you would like. If you want to write your own representative and let them know that you're testifying and you've sent in testimony, you are welcome to do so. I highly recommend it. Even if they're not on the committee, it's a good idea to do this just to let them know. And you would send to rep your house district number at ohiohouse.gov. Rep 55 at ohiohouse.gov is where you would send that. If you would like to follow the bill, you can sign up for following the committee and seeing what's happening at the committee. And you can watch what's happening there. You add yourself to the mailing list. You'll get email updates, so you don't have to wait for us. You'll get the automatic email that I get on Friday and then send out to you. But you can get it directly if you want to look through the House Committee, find the General Government Committee, and sign up for their email list. You will be notified of all hearings that are happening in front of the General Government Committee. They send out an agenda every week, letting you know exactly what's going to be on the agenda. Now, they reserve the right to change it at any time. They reserve the right to add more things. They reserve the right to remove things. They do not absolutely have to give you notice of said meeting. They can just hold the meeting without telling us to. Generally, they do go ahead and let us know what's happening. Generally, they make the agenda by Friday afternoon and send it out around 4 or 5 p.m., sometimes Thursday. And it usually has the agenda that's typically going to follow. That will also tell you if you're going in person, the agenda tells you what order of events is going to happen. So are they going to get to SB 63 first, or is it second, third, or fourth on the list for that day? So you'll get to see that ahead of time so you can kind of see what the order of the day is going to be for that. So this is how you testify at the State House. I would love to have some discussion about strategy, which we will not be recording, and I'll turn off the recording for that. But I do want to know that if you have questions that you would like to ask that are about this presentation, about testifying, the logistics of it, anything like that, I will be happy to answer for you now so other people can hear your questions and I can answer them because other people might have the same questions. I think I answered anything that was in the chat already. So if I missed it, feel free to write it back in the chat or jump off of mute and throw it and let me know what your question is.
Yeah, I'm so sorry and um forgive me for asking if it was already said. but do we have so we don't have an actual hearing yet. We're just preparing for if the hearing happens, correct?
That is correct. So we
Okay.
won't know till last minute when it's happening. I highly recommend getting prepared now and having your testimony ready so you can easily send it in when that date comes.
And then I guess my next question would be, and I can email this also, is someone who is running for office.
Mhm.
What can I do? What can I do to get other people involved and other supporters involved and really get more attention onto Rank the Vote Ohio and ranked choice voting.
Yeah. So I would talk about this bill as somebody who's a candidate. If you're willing to, let me put it that way, if you're willing to add it to your campaign, that this is against home rule, this is against our constitution in the state of Ohio. If you are willing to talk about that, just talking about the bill itself gets a lot of attention on ranked choice voting, and coming out against it in your campaign would be great, and talking to people about it and letting them know how restrictive this is and how it might hurt communities around the state so that they understand that, ranked choice voting is something that you might want to look at, and this would prevent you from doing it, essentially. In terms of positively talking about ranked choice voting itself, you can always send them to our website, but ranked choice voting is a simple upgrade that allows us to rank our choices. And I think just talking about that, like, would you like to rank your choices? One of the things we say a lot and is on some of our talking points, even on our website, is that a lot of people are just like the song said at the beginning, are just really disillusioned with voting. They don't think people are listening to them. They want their representatives to hear them. Ranked choice voting would encourage them to run on platforms of what they actually plan to do for the people, and it would encourage, like, if you're running on a platform of this is what I'm going to do for you, you can say, and ranked choice voting would encourage everybody to do that. So you can talk about that kind of thing as well. We have a lot of talking points on our website that I would highly recommend checking out and looking at, that you could add to anything as you're talking to people. But most people, when we talk about ranked choice voting, telling them that you can rank your choices one, two, three versus having to choose from the lesser of two evils, tends to get people's attention.
Okay, thank you very much.
And sure, reach out to me offline. I'll be happy to have more conversation with you about that. A lot of people seem to like ranked choice voting. Yeah, the voters we talk to definitely like it. As soon as they hear about it, if they don't know about it, they do tend to like it. Any other questions about testimony and how to do it, where to do it, logistics?
When do you recommend getting the testimony in by?
You have to have it in by 24 hours before the actual hearing. I would not send it out before they actually have announced a
Okay,
hearing, because it can get lost. They may not remember it's there. The
okay,
aide who's usually putting these together doesn't put them together till that week, and it could totally get lost out of the inbox if you send it in advance. So I highly recommend not sending it in until it's been announced when the meeting's going to be. Your witness slip also has to say the day that you plan to testify. So you really can't even send in the witness slip with it until you actually have a day that you are going to be testifying. You can send it to your representative anytime you want.
okay,
So if you want to send it to your representative, send it to them as soon as it's done. That's completely up to you. And then they at least have a heads up on that. And you can call them when things come to the actual House floor or to the committee. You can then call them and say, hey, look, I sent you my testimony. Please vote no, and remind them of that later.
okay. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Yeah, vote for the candidate you want, not the one you feel you have to. Absolutely. 100% agree. Any other questions about the process of testimony? Okay. So I'm
Oh,
going to
sorry.
stop.
I
Oh,
have
go
one
ahead.
quickly.
Yes, please.
For the witness slip, I've never done one before. Do we need like a witness to sign? And is
No,
there anyone in particular? Okay, so it's not a case of we need to notarize it or anything like that.
You are stating that you are going to be a witness at a hearing. That is why it's called a witness slip. So you are essentially saying, I'm going to testify. I am witnessing this bill. And it's really just you tell them your name, your information, that send in your testimony with that you've attached testimony, that you're going to be in person or not in person, and a couple other questions that they ask you as well. So it's really just answering questions on your own behalf.
Okay, so it's just letting them know who I am, basically.
Yes. And on that slip, before we go, I do want to say on that slip, in that line where it says organization, we ask that you represent yourself and not Rank the Vote Ohio. So leave that line blank, or if you're working with another organization, feel free to put that down. Or if you're working with your campaign, feel free to put that down. But only our executive director is going to be somebody who's speaking on behalf of ranked choice voting. All volunteers are representing themselves at the testimony.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right, so we're going to go into a discussion here locally about strategizing messaging and talking points and what that looks like. And we'll talk through like some things on that. I want people to be able to speak freely on that and not be recorded. So I'm going to turn off the recording. Thank you to all those who are watching at home and were not able to make the meeting. I hope this is helpful. Do feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. My email is now in the chat, which will be public for this recording. So thank you very much for those on the recording. We'll see you later.